Have you heard about the new requirements for the Hope Scholarship? You know, the committee working on all that now, and it's been in the news. You know, there are more people wanting to come to college. And there are fewer people playing the lottery, except with the CDs up here. So it's putting a strain on our Hope Scholarship funds, and I don't know if you've heard, I've heard backstage because I've had the TV on CNN, but they've just come out with some new requirements for the Hope Scholarship. One of them is that the minimum SAT score is going to be 1,500. And the other one is you're going to have to work 2 semesters on the ground staff. So nothing further. All right, our next performer is new to Clayton State campus, and I hope we give him a warm welcome. Please welcome Dean of Arts and Sciences, Ray Wallace.
Everybody doing okay tonight? I am out here tonight to introduce a group of friends, alumni of the River Dance group. I was going to, because it's sort of an Irish event, I was going to tell some Irish jokes, but I met the president today and I went over my Irish jokes, and I don't know any clean Irish jokes. He strongly suggested that I do something else. I don't know what this gentleman's doing on stage when I'm on stage. But as I left the president's office, the provost, Dr. Hoffman, asked me to make some announcements tonight, and I think these are important announcements. As you know, Clayton State is really increasing its academic standards, and it really has become more rigorous for faculty members to get tenure. This is not your old Clayton State. And to that end, the provost wanted me to announce that she has worked with the Tenure and Promotion Committee this year, and the report has come out, and these are the reasons why God did not get tenure at Clayton. Please understand this comes from the provost. If you're offended by this in any way, call her. Why God never got tenure at Clayton State? He only had one major publication. It was in Hebrew. There were no references. It wasn't published in a referee journal. There were even some doubts that he wrote it himself. As the provost said, it may be true that he created the world, but what's he done for us lately? The scientific community has had a hard time replicating the result. I think one of the most egregious errors came from the board, and he actually never applied to the ethics board for permission to use human subjects. When experiments went awry, he tried to cover it by grounding subjects. When subjects didn't behave as he predicted, he deleted them from the sample. He rarely came to class, and he just told the students to read the book. I think perhaps the most egregious was that he expelled the first 2 students for learning too much. And the last 2 reasons he didn't get tenure here at Clayton State, he only had 10 requirements, and most of the students failed them. In case you didn't realize this, I came from here, from Montgomery, Alabama. And finally, he held his office hours infrequently and usually held them on top of a mountain. Some other announcements I think are important. Associate Provost Mackin and the senior dean, i.e. the oldest most crotchety dean, Bud Miller, have been they have been working on position descriptions for various offices on campus, and I've been asked to read these tonight. You'll note very quickly that Bud Miller came up with the first one. The description of the dean is a person who leaps tall buildings in a single bound, is more powerful than a locomotive, is faster than a speeding bullet, walks on water, and gives policy to God. A department head leaps short buildings in a single bound, is more powerful than a switch engine, is just as fast as a speeding bullet, and talks with God. A professor leaps short buildings with a running start and favorable winds, is almost as powerful as a switch engine, is faster than a speeding BB, walks on water in an indoor swimming pool, talks with God if a special request is honored. An associate professor, any associate professors out here tonight?
Yeah.
Some? Oh, I would have lost that bet. The associate professor, Mackin claims, barely clears a Quonset hut, uses covered war with a locomotive, can fire a speeding bullet, swims well, and is occasionally addressed by God. Assistant professors, most of those back there, any assistant professors in the audience? Mackin doesn't think much of you. Makes high marks on the walls when trying to leap tall buildings. Is run over by locomotives. Can sometimes handle a gun without inflicting self-injury. Treads water. And talks to animals. Just a few more. Yeah, just a few more so that we don't leave anyone out. An instructor climbs walls continually, rides the rails, plays Russian roulette, walks on thin ice, and prays an awful lot. 2 to go. And I understand we do have some student judges, and I just want you to know that you're not to hold this against us. This comes from Mackin. He is describing undergraduate students as students who run into buildings, recognize locomotives 2 out of 3 times, are never to be issued ammunition, can stay afloat with a life jacket, and that they talk to walls. Bud Miller, in his infinite wisdom, decided that we should send this out to the people that really run the university, and so we asked departmental secretaries for their input on the last group. And Jill Sears, my admin person, where is Jill?
Right here.
So Jill's right there, and she came up with the last one. The departmental secretary lifts tall buildings and walks under them, kicks locomotives off the track, catches speeding bullets in her teeth and eats them, freezes water with a single glance, and most importantly, she is God. Okay, very quickly, I've got one more announcement, and this actually comes from the SEC. There's a lot of worry about the schools of the SEC and how bad the students are. And a list has come out recently about how many students it takes to screw in a light bulb at various schools. And I just want to go over a few of these. At Georgia, it takes 3. 1 to change the bulb, and 2 to phone a friend at Georgia Tech to get the instructions. Ooh. At Alabama, it takes 5. 1 to change it, 2 to talk about how Bear Bryant would have done it, and 2 to throw the old bulb at Auburn students. Any Ole Miss people out here? I'm sure we don't have any Ole Miss. At Ole Miss, it takes 6. 1 to change it, 2 to mix the drinks, and 3 to find the perfect J. Crew outfit to wear to the game. And I've got 2 more. Our pro is from South Carolina, and at South Carolina it takes 80,000. 1 to screw it in, and 79,999 students, other students, to discuss how this will finally be the year they have a good football team. And finally, because my lovely wife is from Arkansas, I've saved this one just for you, darling. At Arkansas, it takes no students to screw in a light bulb, because there's no electricity in. Okay, no dirty Irish jokes. I just want to introduce River Creek. No, sorry, Creek Dance. I knew I was supposed to do this, right? Creek Dance is, and you'll note that Creek is spelled C-R-E-A-K, because these guys are old. Words such as beautiful, rhythmic, well choreographed, sensual, sensuous, do not apply to any of this. Without further ado, I need the musical accompaniment to come out first. Wonderful bunch of nuts, please. Easy now. Oh, and the president has asked that if there are any ladies who feel the urge to rush the stage, that security will be here to not allow anyone to attack the costumed performers. Are we ready? I give you Creek Dance.
Is there anything else?